All right, here we are. This is the Trades Podcast. I'm Danny,
And I'm Jeff.
And
and
I'm
we're
Ryan
sitting
Gladwin.
here. Yeah, we're sitting here with Ryan Gladwin. He's awesome. He's already about to give us a little backstory about his company. But introduce that company and then tell us that backstory that you're about to tell us.
Okay. Yeah, I work for Love's Travel Stops and Country Stores. I actually work in a division, a part of Love's. I actually manage Truck Care Academy. So they're a training facility. We have three of them around the United States that train in-house technicians. So at our truck stops, we actually train all of our in-house technicians on basic stuff and then getting into that advanced stuff on these semi trucks and trailers. Um, but I'll kind of get into it a little bit. Love's, it started in 1964. It actually started, I can't remember the city, but in Oklahoma. Tom Love, the owner of Love's, actually took a loan from his stepfather to buy his first gas station in Love's. So when he did that, that excelled so much, he actually bought the gas station across the street, and then it grew from there. Now we have over 700 travel stops and over 430 truck shops around the nation. That makes us one of the largest, actually, network businesses for travel, transportation, and all that good stuff. But yeah, Tom Love actually unfortunately passed away last year. But it is a family-owned business, so his family, sons, granddaughters, all that stuff took over the company.
That's huge. I mean, a lot of history behind that, and that's obviously made in America, bred in America, right here.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, and we have cultures. It's like a big family in here. Everybody knows everybody. You'll run into people at an airport, gas stations, out on the road, and they see the Loves and they're like, "Hey," and they introduce yourself. It's just a friendly environment. It's an awesome place to work for.
Yeah. I was reading about how Tom's wife was really involved, super good with finances. She was
Yeah.
really integral in help growing the business at first, and um, got to a certain point, stepped away, and spent a lot of years giving back to the community that helped make Love successful.
Yeah. Love's is a huge part in Oklahoma City, so we donate a lot to that. We've helped OU softball stadium, so we actually built them a brand new stadium. They've been a national champs the last few years.
Wow.
We do parks and give back, and also we deal with Children's Miracle Network. We're one of the top, funders for that. They're a huge part of giving back to the community in Oklahoma City and everywhere, and it's awesome to see that and have an employer that cares for that.
That's cool.
That's awesome. No, and uh, tell us a little bit about your background. I mean, what led you to work with Loves? What kind of brought you in, and what was your experience before Loves found you, or you found Loves?
Okay. I've actually been in the diesel mechanic field for 16 years. Since I was able to turn a wrench, I kind of just grew into it, tearing apart father's lawnmower, trying to put it back together before you got in trouble, kind of thing. Um, but I actually worked at a couple mom and pop shops in Omaha, Nebraska. I worked at a dealership in Omaha, Nebraska for the majority of my career. Unfortunately, I had to close down, and then I actually got a phone call from Love's saying, "Hey, we heard that your dealership closed down. Would you be interested in coming to work for Love's?" At the time, the only thing I really knew about it was I thought it was a gas station. I've seen their shops. I thought they just did tires and oil changes, to be honest. And I came in and did an interview, and they showed me around, showed me what they did, and it was an amazing interview. Usually some of them can be kind of finicky and like a little on edge, but no, I felt at home. It was great. So I was actually worked at a standalone shop in Council Bluffs, Iowa for about 2 to 3 years before I started getting into the training role. So I think Love's kind of seeked me out on that one, and I'm glad they did. Um, but yeah, like I said, I turned a wrench for a long, long time before I got in the position that I'm in. So the diesel mechanic field has been my number one advocate, and you know, living and having fun and going on travel and stuff.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah, and
go ahead.
I've actually read into like some of the hospitality aspect that Loves kind of really brings into the space, and obviously just from your experience, they saw that you had a company, you had years of experience, and that they saw that you were in the transition. So that piece of them reaching out to find good talent, that's not an easy thing to do. So I think that's a testament to the type of work that they have behind the scenes, trying to find great talent to have on their team, want to expand their team of how many employees does Loves have right now?
Oh, shoot. And the number grows every day. I know like I said, I'm on the truck side, but we have over probably 3,000 technicians. That's from lube techs to, diesel mechanics. Manager, I mean, that's sky's the limit there. We
Wow.
probably have thousands of employees. I mean, we got over 700 locations, 430 shops, and that's just counting the travel stops and the truck cares. We have
Hmm.
other divisions that we also implement and actually do. So, I mean, I can kind of get into that a little bit too.
Yeah. No, it's that diesel part where, I mean, you guys are offering diesel vehicle maintenance, the amenities, the showers for people that are, going across the whole country. What would set you guys apart from those other truck stops out there?
I mean, honestly, we are always constantly updating our sites, our travel stops, keeping them up to date with technology, cleanliness. Buildings can deteriorate over time. So we're probably spending billions of dollars every year on renovating or rebuilding all of our old shops, our travel stops, trying to stay up to part. And then also we take a lot of recommendations from customers also. So like a lot of customers that travel with RVs would always like to see like an RV stop. So I believe, over 100 locations now that have RV stops, and it just gives them the spot to stop at. And then also our shops that actually are doing RV and camper repair now. So we're not going to go inside, because they're really nice in some of these, but we'll do like tires, brakes, anything, lights go out or anything like that to get that customer and that people traveling, that family down the interstate as quickly as we can.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Actually, I have noticed that some of the stops have, grass areas for dog breaks, and there's more parking spots off to the side for people that you see RVs and travel trailers in there.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
I actually travel with my two dogs a lot of the time, and that's where I stop. They're a fenced in area. There's a small and a large breed side, and they just run around, have a good time instead of being cooped up in a vehicle for however long your transportation is. Give them a chance to kind of free. And that's a huge thing for me since I bring them along.
yeah. So one of the things I was really curious about it when I first met you, Ryan, was the fact that diesel mechanics is in line with construction trades and uh, being part of using your hands and a good long-term career. Can you talk about what it's like to be a diesel mechanic and what a career looks like, or
Yeah.
looks like it
So
does?
yeah, so as a diesel mechanic at Loves, I mean, there's a bunch of different roadmaps, but say if we start with an individual that 18 doesn't really know a lot about being a diesel mechanic, but wants to do that. So we actually have in-house training programs completely free to every Loves employee. So they would come in day one, they would get to, someone would work with them for a duration, let's say 90 days on changing oil, doing tires, doing the simple little maintenance stuff to get them familiar with the vehicles. And then we would just progress from there, allowing them to do service calls for tires, starting to work with mechanics a little bit more in shop and being kind of hey, show me this, hand you the tool, and kind of just observing that kind of thing. Then we offer a diesel apprentice program. So the diesel apprentice program is a year-long minimum, and they have a timeline that they have to obtain. So like we teach electrical, we teach uh, wheel air system, and then we train Um, sorry, rough finish up there.
Yeah, you
Uh,
can't control the outside world, my friend.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So we got electrical, wheel and air systems, HVAC, and then we also teach them DOT. So like all of our trucks driving down the road has to have an annual DOT inspection every year. And if you ever read that book before, it can be pretty confusing, and they just
So
need some guidance reading that.
what's the acronym for again?
Department of Transportation.
Okay.
So that's like the federal government. They have the scale houses on the side. Your officers can do level one, just spot inspections and all that stuff. They have to meet a minimum requirement to actually be on the road every year. And that's the inspections that every shop does. The DOT Appendix A inspection. It's just a minimum periodic inspection standard. Yep. Those
Okay.
are 5 core classes. And then once they complete that and do a hands-on test out and a written test out, they complete both. They graduate to the next level of technician at that point, and they get to, earn an hourly wage plus commission. So like a lot of shops and a lot of other businesses out there, they're either like a flat rate or an hourly. We are probably one of the only ones, or very few, that give a technician an hourly paid rate plus commission every week that's paid out to them, as long as they hit a set amount.
Okay.
And then if a technician comes into play that already has previous experience, let's say they worked at a shop for 4 or 5 years, they come in, we do the typical 90-day probation period like every work does. And then we send them off to training. So they'll come to the academies, there's 3 of them. There's one in Casa Grande, Arizona. There's one in Oklahoma City, and then there's one in Indianapolis, Indiana. And then we also have 5 more mobile training trailers. It's a mobile academy lab that will actually go on sites and drive around the country and train the same stuff, same subjects at that point.
Wow.
Yeah, we have over 300 years of diesel mechanic experience just in our training
Yeah.
department. So there's a lot of knowledge and uh, training and the industry as a whole just in this one department.
Yeah.
That's huge. And this piece, like you said, it does it leaves you off with some sort of certification, being able to pass not that they would want to, but want to possibly if they did move and they have, that experience from Loves and their training program. But it also allows them to want to be able to grow within the company, I imagine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we strongly encourage it. We offer relocation plans for all that. Say if we have a technician that was trained, went through the program, and we have an opening, they live in Arizona, we have an opening in Utah. Yeah, there might be an opportunity where we move that individual up there because that shop's in need of technicians or more bodies in the shop kind of thing. And then, I started out as a technician at Love, and now I manage our truck care academies around the United States. So there's always goals to attend. So we want to promote within because it's easier to follow our culture and what we're going for in the long run at that point.
And you just mentioned it earlier where, coming out of high school, someone can come in and they got the full hands-on training. It's happening all internal. Is there, is that like a probationary period? Are they getting paid while doing this training?
Yeah, yeah. So it's on the job paid training. They get their hourly wage. And then we also train industry standards. So a lot of my instructors and trainers are actually a part of TMC, which is Technology Maintenance Council. It's actually what OEMs, manufacturers follow as repair procedures or recommended practices to fix trucks. So we're very much in tune in the industry to help these technicians with information, repair processes, or even how to diagnose simple things could be a problem on all these newer electronic vehicles. We also preach and we're very well invested in ASEs. So that's Automotive Service of Excellence. And ASEs are like where you walk into a shop and you'll see a patch on someone's shoulder that says they're
Seen
ASE
that.
certified. We're a huge advocate for that. We will also, they come to training. We strongly encourage them once they pass the electrical class, go take that electrical ASE. We've had probably hundreds of students that have came to class for a week long, go take their ASE and have passed it immediately once they leave. In Loves, we will actually pay for it once you pass it. So we're
Nice.
constantly growing and want them to get those certifications and make them better because in return, they're going to make us better as we go forward.
Yeah, not only that, and then like you said, I think people that are traveling, obviously they have a short time period if they have an issue. Usually they want to get it done as soon as possible, quickly, where things can be diagnosed correctly, efficiently, and then get back on the road. And that's where I see all those type of training intertwining with each other, where it, that service, beyond, like you said, is not just a gas station. It's a full regenerative, like, all right, like let's stay here, let's relax, let's get our car fixed, and we'll get back on the road like nothing happened. Might be a half a day, hopefully, or something of repairs.
Yeah. And it's just nice to, we've all been in shops waiting for our cars to get serviced and stuff. And it's uncomfortable. A lot of people, we want to make people comfortable when they're there. Cause if they're in a shop, they're already not having a good day. And we need to make that better for them and make the experience a lot better. want to get them back on the road quickly, but some repairs take some time. So we give them, the travel stop, the dog parks, and just stuff that they can go around. For this way, they're not sitting there stressed out about their vehicle. It gives them something to take their mind off of.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Ryan, can you give us a perspective? You're training mechanics to work on really an asset. What's a semi, like an average semi cost just for the
Oh,
truck
shoot.
part?
I mean, anywhere from like a medium cost, like 200 grand just for the truck itself. I mean, trailers can be anywhere from used trailer 10,000 all the way up to 100,000 for a trailer too. It just depends on how they spec it and stuff. The nicer ones are going to be more expensive, with
Yeah,
the chrome, the lights, and all that other stuff. But typically they're around 200 to 300,000 for the truck. So I mean, that's an investment on that driver that we're asking our technicians to take care of. That's a lot of drivers. That's their home.
yeah.
So
So
we
there's
need
a
to
lot
make
of
sure we.
what do they call them? Owner operators. So that's their home or their business is that truck. And there's also the big companies out there that owns hundreds of trucks, I assume
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, so we deal with owner operators, fleets, anybody that's on the road is who we're servicing and who our customers are.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah, we got to take care of them like they're our own is kind of what we aim for at that point.
absolutely. So when you're dealing with an investment like that, one little mistake um, can be very expensive. I mean, if you have a car, a $50,000 car, and little mistake, a few $100,
Oh, yeah.
$200,000 truck, thousands of dollars the mistake can be.
Oh, yeah. I mean, some of the engines are 50 to $100,000 just for the engine itself. So training these technicians is to mitigate that liability of having that mistake. Now we're all humans, it happens, but the more training we give them, they're less prone to having accidents and also fixing the truck correctly for it doesn't break down in the middle of nowhere too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was at a rest stop on the trip back here few weeks ago, and one of the drivers had his hood open. It's the first time I'd seen the inside of a semi with the engine exposed, and everything is just bigger.
Oh yeah.
The fluid capacity, the radiators, the oil thing. Yeah, it was a pretty cool looking at it.
Oh yeah, they're massive. If you ever get a chance, look at them. It's pretty intimidating the first time you see them because you think an engine like your car, right? Like a little 4 cylinder. If you're driving a compact, it's there, it's compact, but you get in a semi and it's like, oh, replacing starters and stuff. You definitely need to be physical to get some of those things in and out.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. And one of the other things I wanted to ask you, actually, I got a few questions. Um, the technology that's changed in like your average car. I mean, one of the first things we had a UEI, a little college here in West Coast, training on auto mechanics, and he says one of the first things we have to do is teach the kids safety. Everything has electronics in it, so even the brakes. You have to teach them how to safely start disassembling the brakes so they don't get electrocuted. Is that what's the technology happening in diesels? And I know the
So,
engines are big, but there's got
yeah.
to be
So
huge
yeah, I mean
technology.
the technology in diesel is definitely there. I mean, we have trucks nowadays that like Volvo just came out with a truck that will pretty much drive itself as lane departure, pedestrian alert. It has electronics in it. I mean, we have EV trucks that are out there. Uh, I think so. Usually, our industries are kind of like 5 years behind. Usually, cars and automotives like 5 years ahead of our transportation business. We've kind of caught up to them on our technology, so we're kind of hand in hand. So whatever's in your car, you can guarantee is probably going to be on a newer truck. And we definitely need to teach that safety stuff on EV vehicles because that's 1,000 volts. That's very dangerous. So our first day and a day and a half in each of our class, we're talking safety, how to pick stuff up and all that good stuff because we don't want them technicians get hurt at that point.
Yeah, I imagine there's parts in there that will blow out an average person's back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's some heavy stuff on trucks. I think a wheel assembly with duals weighs like 200 to 300 pounds. So
Yeah,
yeah,
um,
they're heavy.
absolutely. And one thing, I mean, you mentioned some of the technology that's in the truck right now, but I was hearing a few years ago that some of the major highways that the cell phone services were completely upgraded, so you can travel across country now with like no interruption in cell phone service that we as consumers can tell, but it was put in there for the trucking industry for the future of autonomous trucks coming up. You know anything about that?
Not right now. I mean, we're gonna head that way definitely. So yeah, I mean, you drive down the road, you hardly get bad cell phone signal now. I mean, here in Arizona where I'm at right now, it's kind of bad, but it's gonna get there. We're gonna have trucks that are gonna drive themselves to a point, I believe.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to happen overnight.
No,
Just like
no,
the taxi cabs or Teslas or whatever it's happening.
yeah,
It's going to happen in stages and stuff. And one of the stages that you were just alluding to was um, if the truck will alert you that you're going out of your lane, or there's a vehicle that's going too slow ahead of you, and you got to, the wife's car does that. I hate it, but
yeah, yeah. It's nice to help reassure those drivers, like, hey, you're swerving. Hey, you got to slow down. It's there for a safety thing. That's the big gap, is to help bridge some of those accidents with trucks and keep those
that's
drivers in a straight lane.
yeah. But that's a good step towards driving autonomously, too.
Yeah, definitely. That's one step. That's one level is what we aim for.
So
There's
we got
many
we got a
different
few
ones.
steps to go. It sounds like then.
But yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, and you alluded to some of the positions that are there. Love travel stops, all the way from the managers to the staff in the gas stations. Now, within the space of the mechanic shop, obviously not just the diesel part. I think that's what you said that you're specializing in. What are the specific services that maybe some folks don't know that you do offer?
okay. I mean, we do the preventative maintenance side, so we'll do tires, we'll do oil changes, the basic stuff that everybody knows that loves travel stops does. But we'll also do light mechanical work too. So we'll do wheel seal replacements, brake replacements, starting electrical issues, check engine lights, after treatment. So that after treatment now is for the emissions. Um, we'll do anything that's not like a major repair. We don't have to crack the engine open. We don't have to tear into a transmission. Something that a light mechanical job that we can fix and get it back on the road quickly. We don't want that truck sitting in the shop for a duration of time because, for one, we don't have the equipment or the base space, but it also, we're about getting the driver back on the road quickly. The other shops can handle the major stuff at that point. Yeah. We
And
would do,
th there might have been something that I had read online, but tire retreads, is that something that you could talk a little bit about?
yeah, definitely. So Love's actually we make our own retread tires. So what we do is we take an old used tire after we grade it, and it has to hit a certain standard to be eligible for our retread process. So what we do is we'll actually make a new tire, grind it down, put new tread on it, and it's a brand new tire at that point. We have, I believe, 4 locations. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we make anywhere from like 500 tires a day, I think, or a shift. And our tires are actually fairly decent. We go through a bunch of inspection processes every time we do something to a tire. So our fail rate of a recap tire is less than 3%, which is just like a brand new tire. You ever see the tires going down the interstate that the tread's just on the side of the road?
Yeah.
Part of the time, that's a retreaded tire. But they have a life expectancy. We just need to keep them going. But we do, I believe, most of the sizes for semi trucks. We don't do anything with automobiles. But yeah, our tires are second in user. How do I word this? They're second below us. Another manufacturer is why people's choice are for them, and they're a lot cheaper than or a brand new tire at that point.
I was gonna say another affordable option that there is out there for those truckers out there that are interested in just either getting in the business or already in the business of knowing that there are those options out there. That's a huge thing if you're one lowering costs, but it could be even just a temporary item that you may need as you get onto the next big stop where you're gonna do some bigger repairs.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean it's just there to help those customers because I mean semi tires they're expensive, thousands of dollars for brand new tires, and it's another alternative to help them save money because economy goes up and down, and we want them to. But trucking, without a truck, we don't have the clothes, we don't have the water, we don't have anything. So without truckers and mechanics, the world's not going to move at that point.
Yeah, that's what hey, America moves on trucks.
Yep, yep. And then the mechanics got to fix them to keep them rolling. So I'm 100% with that.
Yeah, that's one thing. Just talking here, I was thinking. Um, I've driven a lot across this country, different times in my life, and I don't think I've ever seen a semi on the side of the road with a flat tire.
Really?
I've seen broken semis, but none there were like the guys out there trying to, wait for the tow truck to come jack it up so they can change the tire.
Hmm. So that's probably the thing that happens the most, in my opinion, would be tires blowing out, flat. They ran something over and got a flat tire, and the tire blew. Uh, that's probably majority of our like road services would be tires and breakdowns. They probably go
So,
hand in hand at that point.
so Love's has a road service also. You'll go out and away from the
Yep.
shop and
So we
do
have a
repairs, tows.
Yep. So all of our shops have road service capabilities. So to where a driver gets a flat tire and stuck on the side of the road, they can call our number, and it will uh, connect them with the shop nearest them, and we will load up our service trucks and head out to them and do the repair right on site. And if we
Maybe
need them
that's
to move
why.
for safety, we'll kind of do that. But we'll do tires and light mechanical, depending on what the job is and the environment, because being on the side of the road is very unsafe. So, well, if it needs to be started, jump started, um, tire replacement, brakes might have locked up. That's something we can kind of do on the side of the road, but we'll do pretty much whatever we can to get that driver rolling again.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why I haven't seen any on the side of the road. You guys are
Yep.
right in
Yep.
that spot.
Either right
You
on
can't
top
miss
of
our
it.
service trucks. They're bright and yellow, so if you see them, you'll know for sure.
I don't know. I've been on road trips with Jeff, and I think he's just tunnel vision. He's not looking at anything else. I,
Yes, I'm exactly the opposite. I get yelled at for not watching the road.
because it's super hard to think that Jeff has not seen a car on the road with the flat tire or semi
Uh,
with the flat tire.
Semi. I've seen plenty of cars. Yeah.
Right, right. But that's huge. I mean, again, just from aside from, all the employees um and obviously the work that you guys do, you touched a little bit on your guys' culture at Love's. What does it mean for you, for how long you've been working at Love's and kind of where you see your future with Love's?
I mean, I'm not gonna leave. I can tell you that they're gonna have to drag me out of here at that point. Um, I mean, I'm not just saying it because I work for them. This is probably one of the best places I've worked. It's, if you work for mom and pop shops, they know your name. And then I've worked at dealerships where you're numbered. For how big we are, they know your name. They know where you're from. They're not afraid to come up and ask you like the Loves family, hey, how are you doing? Is there anything you need? Um, and we also hire the right people for the right position. I mean, we'll train them, we'll do everything we can to put them in the right spot. And then unfortunately, if it's not, we have many other revenues that we can proceed to put that person in the right spot. Definitely. And we just, I don't know how to put it. It's a huge family. Everybody tries to take care of everybody. And I've not had one bad thing to say about anybody here.
Yeah. And where's the headquarters?
So the headquarters is in Oklahoma City. That's our home location. We have, I believe, 3 corporate buildings there. So that's the home. You'll see Love's. I'm pretty sure probably 50% of the people in Oklahoma City probably work for Love's or have
Nice.
worked for them. Yeah, it's
Awesome.
everywhere down there.
And is that where you're at? You're in Oklahoma, is that right?
No, actually, I am in Casa Grande, Arizona today at one of my academies. I'm actually in the office this week. I'm actually stationed up in Indiana, so Indianapolis, Indiana. I have a newer academy up there that I'm running classes out of, and I'm teaching out of right now. And that academy was built in November of 23, and that's one of our busiest ones, just because it's so congested with people and shops up there that seems to be the most popular one to go to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great segue. I mean, help us learn a little bit more about the academy. Something that a lot of people can get more familiar with. Is it strictly for internal employees, or is it anybody that's outside can come in and take on this academy?
Okay. So right now it's only for internal Loves employees that work in our shops. Um, but it's so like day one, we actually pay for their travel, their meals, their flights, whatever they need, hotel, lodging, the whole time they're out here. So we have kind of a different, two different versions on what we do for the academy. So we do week-long classes where we teach one subject, like electrical, over a week's period. So they show up Sunday, class starts Monday, and then obviously they leave Friday. And we just teach them basic electrical, wheeling, and all of our other core classes, which I'll get into here in a second. And then we also offer a 5-week academy class. So what that is for like our diesel apprentices and our L3s that need a little bit more hands-on to learn. We'll actually send them to an academy for 5 weeks, and they'll stay here the whole duration of that month and a half, and learn every aspect of our services and working on trucks. It's a lot. There's a lot of information, but it's had some huge success stories to where we've had technicians come to a 5-week academy, and now they're the shop trainer at that location, and they're training apprentices and doing what
Wow.
we want them to do. And it's phenomenal. It's worked out great. And then we like the 5 core classes that we offer are like electrical wheeling. So like electrical, we'll teach them how to use a digital multimeter, how to diagnose electrical faults, how to repair electrical. Because a lot of people think you can just twist them together and use electrical tape, but that just had more problems in the future. We teach them in wheeling. So we teach them about brakes, how to replace a wheel hub, wheel bearings, and kind of know the failures and fix it or it doesn't happen again. And then HVAC is a huge thing, especially down here in Arizona where it gets really hot. Everybody loves their AC in the middle of summer. So we talk about how to diagnose it, about it, theory, like how does your HVAC system work? How does your AC work? And then go on to doing hands-on portions. So the academies actually have a shop and a classroom separated. So we do a lot of classroom stuff to get the intro and the theory and kind of get the basic understanding of the systems. And then once we teach them that, we go out in the shop and we actually have 2 trucks and a trailer that we start to tear into those systems and work on them and diagnose them. So it's not like we're sitting here showing them pictures. They actually get real life in training person on an actual truck. And that's been kind of like a curve to helping people learn is they get to learn it. And then all of a sudden we're out there doing it. Because in the shop, you might not get that chance. You might, be taught something and it might be 2 or 3 months until you see that type of repair come in. Like I said, we buy their food and all that stuff. So we send them lunch, dinner. It's no expense to the Loves employee. So like a lot of technicians want to go to like colleges and tech schools, strongly encouraged. But, maybe if that technician doesn't have that money or doesn't want to spend that, they can come to Loves and we'll train them for free. And they also get paid while being trained. And they get to learn and just grow in this career that you can make a lot of money in as long as you put your head down and learn and pay attention to what you're doing. And then air systems. So we all these semi trucks and trailers out there run off of air system. So their brakes are not hydraulic or fluid. It's all air that's actuating the brakes. It's a big safety thing. So we teach them how the systems work, how the theory works. And then obviously once they understand that, we're out in the shop and we're tearing into those systems again. And DOT, we pick apart the book and help them understand the verbiage and different stuff like that. But I wish I had this when I first started turning to a wrench because I went and sat in front of a computer, watched a couple of videos, and then they said, you know what to do, go out in the shop and do it. And that wasn't the case. I needed to be shown how to do it.
Yeah.
But we try to cover all the learning basics. Some people can learn it by reading it. Some people have to do it. Some people have to see somebody do it. So we try to cover all those learning capabilities all in one class. And then it's been awesome.
So giving a young adult a perspective on being a diesel mechanic, Ryan, if they're trying to decide what to do as a career, does a diesel mechanic's wages, is that competitive with being a carpenter or a plumber or other types of trades?
Yes, definitely. I mean, you have the potential to make, six figures a year if you really put your head down and focus and learn these trucks and these systems. Um, like I said, you get bonus for working on stuff and completing them right. Excuse me. And then, I mean, I've seen some people make a lot of money doing this job, and it's pretty competitive with all fields. Yeah, some are going to be higher, some are going to be lower. I'd probably say we're middle high
Okay.
on our hourly wage.
Okay.
Mhm.
And as looking at a career path, I mean, it looks like you people put a lot of effort and money and investment into training people as they get into being a diesel mechanic. But what about 5, 10, 15, 20 years later? Is there other opportunities for advancement? I mean, it sounds like you're a good example of that, but as a whole,
Oh yeah, there's options all over the place. So I mean, like what usually happens to a mechanic that's 15, 20 years out, it's a manual labor job. They're wanting to do something else to ease on the body and all that other stuff. So there's management roles, there's area management, there's corporate. And honestly, dude, like I have a skilled mechanic that knows and is very capable and can teach this stuff. There's an option to come in to the training department and we'll teach them every line of what they need to do. There's always training at every position. So we're not just going to throw them to the wolves. It's going to be, hey, this is what you need to do. This is how you do it. And then we progress them along. We want to see somebody start from the bottom and always work their way up because that's the greatest success story in the world. And we want to promote within. It just keeps that culture going.
yeah, that's one of the things me and Danny hear about talking to people in the other trades about the training, that there's a shortage of teachers to be able to
Yes,
train. Yeah.
definitely.
Are we seeing that in the diesel mechanics realm?
Yes, actually, definitely. We are seeing a shortage of instructors and professors because, if we don't get people in the industry, it's kind of hard for people to stay in it long enough to teach it. So, like I said earlier, we're all part of TMC, so that Technology Maintenance Council. That's kind of what everybody follows for recommended practices. I'm actually a part of it's called TEC, so it's Tech to Educator Council. So we actually have like a roadmap, and we teach technicians that have good experience and good knowledge of our industry how to become that educator. So we're kind of like a mentor to them. We have a program that they can follow. We give them like presenter skills, kind of learning skills and how to change and talk and all that good stuff. For this way, we can keep this industry moving forward and keep educating this younger generation.
Okay.
And it's been awesome to be a part of because you get to see these technicians that you trained years ago. And now all of a sudden they're standing in front of a class and teaching the same stuff that you taught them. It gives me goosebumps talking about it.
Cool.
That's great. I mean, just to have a testimony on that piece of, one, retaining talent, I think is probably one of the biggest issues a lot of employers do have nowadays. Keeping talent, but finding that right talent, because not everybody's, like you said, is going to be right for that specific job that they start at. Where when you can open up the door to opportunity for them within the company, because that's where they're going to be able to find their niche, their path within the company. And like you said, if it they were probably a great mechanic, but they might be an even better instructor. Um, you know, and that's where, I mean, that balance of people leaving the field of actually hands-on mechanic, and then hopefully give back to the industry that gave them so much. I think that's something that we need to reiterate to our trades folks that are listening to this right now, that if you know someone out there, you got to hopefully bring them back into the field to, one, pass on that education, that skill that they've obviously been able to flourish off of for their career.
But yeah, definitely. And no, trades are needed. We need to have them. And you're always going to have someone that needs their car fixed, their truck, their plumbing, their electrical. And I go to like college events and all this stuff and talk about being a diesel mechanic. And a lot of people, they don't understand. Like they think it's just turning a wrench and getting greasy. These newer trucks have a lot of electronic stuff on them, and we need people that know computer software programming. And all that stuff because it's not just hit something with a hammer and pull it off anymore. It's you got delicate work with electronics and stuff like that. And these younger generation kids love that stuff. I mean, sometimes you get into the software stuff and it looks like a video game. And you have to be able to navigate that stuff and make the truck run correctly just by pushing buttons and typing on stuff. And it's needed.
Oh, wow, different perspective on that.
Yeah, I got probably one last question right here for you to that. I mean, one piece of advice you'd want to give to that young diesel tech, say that they're going right into the Loves Academy tomorrow. What's before they get into it, what's some advice you'd give them?
I actually love this question. That's a great question. I've had many people ask me this before. The one piece of advice I always give the technicians when they come in to training is don't be afraid to ask questions. Okay. If you don't understand what's going on or maybe you missed something, raise your hand and ask. We all have heard the saying, there's no such thing as a dumb question. When the academies, we say there's no such thing as a dumb question as long as it refers to what we're talking about. And take a lot of notes. Okay. That's probably the greatest thing in the world is you can notes on the laptop, on a paper. We give them student books over each subject that they can refer to and never stop learning. Okay. Even after you leave our class, you have to keep learning because our industry is evolving. You have to evolve with it. And we give them our numbers and stuff. Don't be afraid to call for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help sometimes because we've all been there. So just put your ears open, eyes open, and take notes, and you'll be just fine in this industry.
And if I don't know if you mentioned it, but is this all the academy, does it have to be in person or can it be online also?
So we do offer some like virtual learning. So we do like CBT, so computer based training that they have to do before they attend, just to kind of get them in the realm of what they're going to learn before they come to the hands on portion. And then we'll do like occasionally we'll do like a WebExes and meetings and stuff where we'll teach them stuff that we've seen a lot of technicians struggle with over the nation. And we'll kind of just do like a video for them to sit and watch and help them learn. And then when they come to that class, they can be like, hey, we saw this video. Can you show us how to do this really quick? And I mean, any way of training, we're doing it. We do tech time newsletters for the company where we show them uh, the industry news, what's evolving, different stuff, like even as simple as calibrating a torque wrench. We've done stuff like that. And it just keeps them informed and keeps them learning is what we'll do. Anyway, if we have to send a smoke signal to help people learn, we will do that too.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
hopefully
awesome.
that's the case. Awesome.
Yeah,
Man,
I mean,
really glad we connected and you could come on here and give us a nice perspective on diesel mechanic and what Loves is all about.
Heck yeah. Yeah. I appreciate it, guys. It's been fun. Yeah. I like doing this stuff. It helps shed some light on this kind of trade and hopefully trades in general, in my opinion. You can make a lot of money and have a good career and good life if you just do it correctly.
absolutely. And those folks that are out there, looking to get involved with Loves, again, a long lasting family business, and it's still a family owned business within the US. There are a lot of careers, a lot of opportunities within, and they have this space obviously with the repairs of diesel and vehicles that can absolutely just give you a lot of opportunity in all different fronts. So how do we reach out for the academy? How do we reach out for the employment space of Lowe's?
Yeah. So if you go on like loves.com/careers, it will label every career in the nation. So you can select corporate, field, like obviously we have the travel stops, restaurants, and all that other stuff. It's all labeled out. Click on it, apply, send your resume, and then it goes on from there.
Well,
Fantastic.
thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right,
You guys
Ryan.
have a good one.
All right.
Hang on.